Welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome back to the New Jersey Film Festival Filmmaker Q&A session. Today we have two wonderful filmmakers who have made an amazing film during the pandemic, and we're going to be showing that film on September 17th as part of the 40th anniversary New Jersey Film Festival. That's right, we've been running the New Jersey Film Festival since 1982. And we'll be having a kind of two-part celebration since the New Jersey Film Festival is biannual. We have a film festival in the fall and in the spring, and we coordinate with the Rutgers University calendar since we're based at the State University here in New Jersey. But today we have Amir Ganjavie and Nasim Naghavi, who are the directors of Into Schrodinger's Box, which I call a COVID thriller, and which was actually made during the pandemic. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. Hi to everybody.
Tell us a little bit about the process. How long did it take you to make this film, and what difficulties did you have shooting during the pandemic?
Do you want to start?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, in fact, we had the idea of making a film during COVID. After the COVID situation started in Toronto, one of my friends came to me with the idea of an immigrant couple who had who faced internal crisis because of the COVID, so I discussed this idea with one of my friends who is a screenwriter, and then became the idea of making this like kind of international film, not only about Iranian couple, and about posing a situation in which, because of the uncertainty that we see in the COVID time, that sometimes we are not sure what is right, what is wrong. So we try to create a kind of film that also cause or create a situation, a hypothetical situation in which a woman is trapped in a home and not sure about what's happening to him. Is it what if the thing that happened to him are right, or if she's just dreaming them? So it's a movie that we made it about in 22 days of shooting, and then we had the process of post-production, and post-production took us about, for example, about 2 months, and pre-production 1 month. So I could say roughly about 4 months.
Wow. I mean, I can see how the film is a very hermetic one. Obviously, is based on the very famous experiment by Edwin Schrodinger from the 1930s. And this whole notion of, quantum theory is not really the focus of your film, but uses that as a pretext, right, for the plight of this person. I guess we need to tell the audience what the film is about. I mean, Sofia is a talented pianist, and she's coming home as she finds her husband incapacitated, and we think he has COVID. He's rushed to the hospital, and then all sorts of things kind of happen, and we're not really sure what Sofia is seeing. Is she in a kind of fever dream? Is this all imagined, or is it real? And I think without telling the audience what actually happens at the end, of course, we want to save all of those bits and pieces of information for when folks see the film for themselves. It seems pretty apparent to me that this film also has kind of women's issues at the forefront, not just about COVID and how we become insular, but how society really kind of has pushed women inside of a box and have not allowed them to escape from them. Am I off the mark? Or is that something that you guys?
No, that was part of our purpose too, as well. We wanted to show that if a woman traps in a house, like what's going to happen to her, and then we don't really take in the whole mental issue that existed during COVID-19.
Right.
We all talked about the physical problem that people got in, but we never talked about the mental issues. And recently I just saw that interesting enough that we had like a lot of mental issues going on. It was rated as a percentage in Canada.
Yeah.
So I think that film, yes, at some point was about women issues if they've been trapped in an isolation and alone for 14 days, the 14 days that normally happens in COVID-19 situation. But above that, what's going to happen to her? And we don't take into account other issues that a woman might face.
Yeah. I mean, the gal who plays Sofia, and I wrote her name down, but I don't want to mispronounce her last name, Ada Scala.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Yes.
really wonderful. And how did you find her? How did she become your star? I mean, she's your star, right?
I think I could talk about it like as your first, as an answer to your first question too. It was very hard during COVID-19 to find actors and actresses because of the situation. So we find a tiny room and we asked everyone to come in, but we had to have this space between us. So it was not very easy even to cast in people. We were fortunate to find Ada. She was one of the women that was just talking about, okay, it's okay, I can just do act during COVID. And happily enough, the time that we took the shoot, it was open. The Canada has a rest for a while, for around I think 2 months, right?
No.
Around 2 months we had an opening, and it happened all during that time.
Wow.
Yeah, very quickly, very fast. But yeah, it was not easy really to find a cast.
And the location is primarily based in her home, at least what is supposed to be Sofia's home and Martin's home.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about how you secured the location. Is it somebody's home that you used? During the quarantine, I would think that it would not be easy to secure any old home. It had to be something that you had access to. Was that something that was difficult, or?
Yeah, it was in fact very difficult to secure a house, and we had to look around and ask friends to see if they are willing to give us their home, and hopefully we had friends who accepted to give us the home. But we did our best to return the house in a very good condition and in a very proper way. But as you can imagine, it was not at all easy. People become more sensitive to this issue and how to deal with the hygiene and health.
Yeah, and I think that makes the film even more remarkable because you were able to deal with those issues. And I know just talking to one of our board members is an entertainment lawyer, and he's connected to all these big projects that normally would be taking place in New York City in the metro area here. And he was telling me about all the liability sign-offs that were necessary to make projects happen during the pandemic. And he was more busy during the pandemic than normal times because of that. And I wondered if you had to deal with did you have to deal with issues like that as well?
Yeah, for insurance, it wasn't at all easy to get insurance for the film. They wanted from us to show that we have all the necessary fund for the film from the beginning, and it's all in our accounts. It wasn't the case before. I think maybe mostly because of some fraud happening. I don't know what was the issue, but they wanted us more documents compared to the past to accept the insurance for the film.
Crazy. Well, tell us a little bit about the rest of your acting team. You have Jeff Mays, who plays Martin, and Lee Lawson, who plays Lilith. And they're all really wonderful too. I mean, your film is a kind of triangle film. And there's so many wonderful triangle films over the course of time. And without giving away too much of the plot, the husband, Sofia's husband, is a filmmaker. So I wondered if you thought of your film as kind of being a metafilm, a kind of film about the filmmaking process, since there is that element to it, without giving too much away. Is that far-fetched, or is it something that you guys thought of?
Well, you could include that in too. You could include that too, yeah. It was hard during pandemic to do it, and it's also another issue, another layer of the film. I could say that our film was about different layers. We are living in a postmodern era, right? Yeah. Everything like we are bombarded with different layers of information. Is it from economic, social, political, just name it. You just a person is just composed of, like, I call always ourselves like a onion filled with layers and layers of information, especially nowadays you're bombarded with information. So our film is like that. I think that if you look back at this, you'll see that this is the person of nowadays, and then this is the issue of nowadays. Let's look at it from different points of view. Yes, of course, it's part of it about also the filmmaking and how it could be also directed to that part as well.
Yeah, because there's surveillance that takes place, and cameras all over and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we had the idea of, for example, the controlling and surveillance, the Foucauldian word becoming very predominant during the COVID situation, and government could control lives, could say that what our citizens are supposed to do, especially in the name of the health. So we had this idea somehow in my mind that Sofia is living in the panoptical situation, that she's under control and surveillance, and somehow the whole process of somebody watching or stuff like that was somehow a metaphor for
Big Brother. Yeah.
Big Brother. Yeah.
Yeah, Big Brother. And so, but all the technology that we see Skype calls, and the cell phone is very important, and that also ties into the postmodernist kind of notion that underpins your film. And we're getting a lot of movies. I interviewed yesterday 2 filmmakers from France who did a document about an Iranian boy who fled Iran for the UK, and it was very heavily surveillance video. It had that look, and I think the emigre is somebody who's the other and is painted in a very negative way. Unfortunately, makes it very difficult for people like that to make it in another society. And I think you get the sense that Sofia is in that same situation too, right? She's an outsider. Even though she's inside Canada, there's still a sense of being an outsider. Is that correct, or maybe not so much?
Well, really depends again back on the lens that you're looking at it,
right.
Or you watch the whole film. Well, maybe I would just say, if I wanted to say an outsider, I would call it mostly the way that the city was working at the time, because during COVID, the city was empty. So she was absolutely an outsider because of the emptiness. Right. She went in her dreams, she goes outside, but she realized that's everywhere. There is nobody. So then inside the house is the same. So for us, it's not just the house as a box, but we realize it's the whole city that's been under lockdown as working as a box. So we were just trying to show that it's all over place now. What we can do about it.
Very much so. I really liked Lee Lawson's performance too. It is very nuanced. Tell us a little bit about how you found her. She's really quite beguiling. So.
Yeah, she's a very interesting actress, I will call. When she goes inside the role, she doesn't get out, and that's what I really liked about her. She changes very, very smoothly to that state, and then it's as if she's part of that whole story, and that I really liked about her. I think it was, for me, it was a learning process with her. I found her interesting, how to interact with people, especially for me. I am the first, it was my first, basically, experience of doing filmmaking. So managing all the people and working with everyone and getting to know everyone and understanding everyone wasn't an easy thing to do. Because our background is also in art and architecture. So I am more familiar with physical environment than people.
There's an art, as a fellow filmmaker, I can tell you there's an art to interacting with your actors. And trying to get them to do what you want them to do is not always very easy. And,
No.
you know,
Yes, absolutely.
wow, wonderful. Well,
But she's a very kind of dedicated person,
Exactly.
and she did lots of rehearsal to make herself ready
oh,
for the role.
you can tell. I think all of the actors are really quite wonderful, and I think the interaction was excellent. And you know, the film does take some turns and twists and turns, and you're not really sure what you're seeing. And I think that was the whole point of the movie, and the reference to Schrodinger's experiment, you know, which folks can check out for themselves. Okay, well, I wanted to take this time to share screen so our audience can see how they can purchase tickets. So normally folks would type in njfilmfest.com, which is on the placard behind me, and they would go to the homepage, and then here they would click on where it says New Jersey Film Festival. And normally everything would be here, but because our festival is a hybrid one this year, which means that we're going to be doing live screenings as well as online screenings. Fingers crossed on the live screenings. We're taping this in the middle of August, and the university has given us permission to show movies in person to a reduced capacity in our space, but with masks or face coverings. That was the prerequisite. You know, everything is changing daily, so check our website to make sure that's still the case before you come out. But we will also have the option for folks to be able to watch the movie online, and we are using Eventive. So when you get to our schedule page, you will have to click on one of these blue links, which will send you to our catalog page for the film festival, which will allow you to purchase tickets. And here's a shot we have of Lee and Ada. And all you have to do is when you click on the picture or you hover over the picture, there's a pre-order button, and you just click on that, and that will send you to where you can purchase tickets. You can also explore our site a little bit by clicking on the Back to the Festival page. And here we have a welcome page that gives you basic information. We have a film guide, so you can see all the individual films listed. And here's the Into Schrodinger's box poster. You click on that and it opens up with information about the film, and you can see all the main players and people are listed. And then you could also go back, you can click on the menu, and you can go to where it says schedule, which gives you a linear view of the festival, you know, where you can just scroll down and see that it's playing on Friday, September 17th. Now, the great thing about the festival is that if you watch it online, you can watch it over the course of the day. So if you start watching at 12:01 on the 17th, and you get sleepy, you want to go to sleep, and you can't finish it, you can finish watching it. You have 24 hours to finish watching it once you start. So you want to watch it late at night on that day, you can start at 11:30. You still have till 11:30 the next day to finish it. Let's say you watch it during the day, you want to see it again on our big screen in Voorhees Hall, room 105, which is located at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. You can do that, but the screening, the live screening is only at 7 p.m. So anyway, hope folks will check out our wonderful lineup. I'm going to stop sharing. And, you know, we picked 20 films out of over 400. So it's very competitive, and we're really, really proud to have your film be part of our festival. And I want to thank you for doing this Q&A with us today. And hopefully we can meet, I don't know, sometime in the near future. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, so let's do